I'm Laura Pelly and welcome to the third video in my little foundational Pilates series where I'm looking at technique and getting the richness out of exercises so you can bring a little bit more technique into your training, whatever that might be. So today I'm looking at the back body, really important. We're slouching a lot and just working over computers and devices, and it's really important to get the strength and the stretch and the balance and the lift through the upper back, the strong back chain all the way down. So it's not always about abdominals and legs and bum, it's our back is the backbone of our lives. So we'll do a little bit of bum as well. So we'll start lying down on the mat, face down. Okay, so legs will be together, pressed together, ankles, knees, hips, thighs, pressed together. And if this is not comfortable, then you can open them a little bit, because this can sometimes cause some tension on the lower back, but otherwise will be legs together. Arms will go in your sort of a trident position, so your elbows sort of in line with your upper back. I'm going to be talking, so I'm going to lift my head, but you'll start with your nose touching your mat and your head relaxed. Your head will never sort of come up like this, and the neck should always follow the line of the back. So I'll be trying to do that, but I know when I'm talking, I'm sort of moving my head around. Not always got proper head position. So to begin with, so the legs are together. There's life in the bum, so start to bring engagement into the bottom. Lift the pelvic floor and lift the abdominals as if I were to slide a piece of paper underneath them. So there's a lifting sensation in the abdominals. And we'll try and maintain this connection almost the whole time, deepening the engagement in places. So relax forward, the shoulders start relaxed forward. Take a breath in. Roll your shoulders open so they slide down your back into a V. Engage the abdominals, pelvic floor, and then start to reach the crown of your head away from you, lifting up your sternum. Lower ribs stay on the mat, but the upper back is stretching off. So we're not in a back bend. We're lengthening long, but getting the openness through the collarbones, and the work is in the upper back. And then lower yourself down, but getting length as you lower down. Another deep breath in, engage the pelvic floor, the abdominals, slide the shoulders down your back, and then lift your head and shoulders into the position of bringing your back upper back without tension in your lumbar spine. And come back. Now we're going to add on to that. Stay with that if that's you, and then practice with that. That's the prep. The full exercise looks a bit like this. You engage the abdominals, pelvic floor, shoulders slide down. You come into that thoracic extension. Then you dive forward and bring the extension increases here, and then you come back to the hover here, back to the hips and down. I'm going to move slightly because I haven't got enough space by the side of me. Okay, so again, take a breath in, engage the abdominals, pelvic floor, shoulders, lift the sternum, the crown of the head reaches away, the space in the vertebra, dive forward and lift, and back down, and again, up, forward. Last one. Lift forward into the hover. Lift the sternum, engage the abdominals, pelvic floor, and lower back down. Press yourself into a shell stretch. Breathe in and out, and then come back down into the prone position. But this time we're going to open our legs and rotate them out, so the knees are facing out slightly, toes are facing out slightly, and our arms are out in front of us like this. Fingers down to the floor, so not flat. The little fingers on the floor and the thumbs up. So imagine that you're an X. Take the right arm of your X and lift the walk the fingers away from you. And then the toes as well on the left leg. So opposite arm, opposite leg are lengthening away from you. Okay, now lift the right arm and the left leg using the bum and the shoulder, and then lower and lift and lower and lift. So all the while the pelvic floor is engaged, you've got the engagement that you're sliding a piece of paper under your abdominals, shoulders are down, neck is nicely in line with there's just a small lift here, it's like you're not flat, you're lifting but you're not stressed up there, and that's a nice way to get prepped for the next exercise. We'll place that down, do the same on the other side. So turn your palm to the side, stretch your arm away from you, your fingers away from you, and your toes away from you on your right leg. Lift them, lift the leg using the bum and not the knee, or bending the knee or using the back. So it doesn't have to be super high, only go as high as you're not using your back, that your bum can lift you. And we'll do 3, 2, 1, and down. So now set your shoulders. The fingers being in this position, it feels nice to roll feels nice on the shoulders rolling. It sort of gets the shoulders to roll out into a nice position. It's in a nice V, follows the V down the line of the little finger down your back. And take breath in, engage your abdominals, pelvic floor, slide your shoulders down your back, engage your bottom, and then lift both legs and arms away from you rather than up. They're away. I mean, they can go up, but use your bottom, and then as if we're swimming through water, you can inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and that's working the entire back chain, supported by the abdominals and the shoulders. And then we'll relax down. Push back into a shell stretch, stretching out the lower back. Always very important to counter the strong back movements. And come back down. Again, legs are going to be wide, rotated out, knees rotated out, pelvis pushed into the mat, a little bit rotated posteriorly into the mat, and your arms, you'll find a position that suits around here and suits your range. Okay, so I'll take a breath in. So this is a swan prep. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, push into your arms, shoulders down. The ribs come off this time, we're going higher, but we're not back bending into it. There's a lifted here. And I think that's a mistake a lot of people make. So the pubic bone is still on the mat. The hips are lifted, mine are lifted, yours might not, that's fine. So you might be wider and like this. What's important is you're just not back bending into that movement, you're lifting from here. So it's a bit different to what maybe you might do in yoga, but there's a lifting in the back. And then as that develops, then you take your legs off and that's the full exercise, but yeah, I wasn't going to do that. But the important thing is that you are engaged and you're not putting stress on the lumbers with any of these exercises. So you'd start where you are in getting extension. And finally, keep the knees rotate further out, heels press together. Place your hands on your forehead and then press your heels together as you lift your thighs off the mat. Definitely knees, thighs should try and clear, but again, you don't want to take the stress here. Need to use the bum and think of pushing the heels together and almost away from you, so there's length coming from the hip. There's a lengthening around. So if you're using your back too much, then you're using your back too much. If you feel you need to use your glutes and press the heels as you lift, and then lift and release a little bit. Again, everything's going on in the upper body. Shoulders are down, abdominals are engaged. Really nice, controlled, focused movement. There we go. Sit back. Always have a nice stretch. You can have the knees together or apart, and just do what feels good with the stretching of the spine. Lovely. Okay, brilliant. So that's your back body. Always really, really lovely to get that back body working for a lovely healthy spine. Okay.